So yeah, that's why I think, like, here in the UK, I think that's why a lot of people tend to like suffer with like depression and sad and these kind of different conditions that kind of fall under that umbrella predominantly during the winter time. You know, the lack of sunlight, and not only that, but during the winter too, people tend to less be friendly and communicate. People tend to be kind of like hermits during the winter time. They want to get indoors, you know, back indoors where it's warm, and you know they can be comfortable and
the other thing about, I mean, I prefer. I'm happier in the summer, I must admit.
Yeah, I think everyone is. Yeah.
I must admit. I mean, one thing, I don't have to pay for putting any heating on all the time. Do you know what I mean? It costs money, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So the price of living's gone up. You know, electric's gone completely right up, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the winter's kind of a bit more difficult up, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you ask me, it's darker. It's colder. People are not so happy.
Yeah.
If you ask me, during the winter. Maybe on Christmas Day they are.
Yeah.
That's about it. You know. But yeah, you know, and I think like depression. Well, it's depression. It's not being happy, is it? You know, it's being sad, basically. And I feel like a lot of people really get more depressed in the winter. This will stop. You know, I think all animals do too.
Yeah.
All birds, really. You know, they struggle to survive and keep warm.
Yeah.
A lot of animals die in the winter, especially birds and all that, you know.
Yeah. Survival conditions are harder. Yeah.
But some people, they really, when it's raining, low pressures come down, you know, and it gives them migraines and things, apparently.
Yeah.
This kind of stuff, you know. Some people it affects.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It doesn't me.
Yeah, same.
Personally. But it does some people.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't like to live somewhere like in Norway.
Okay.
Where it's a bit darker all the time. You know, it's even
darker than here.
Yeah. I mean, basically, the more you go down north way, the darker it will get.
Yeah.
You know, during the winter time.
Yeah.
And if you go down France.
There is a place too where it goes dark for like a month or a couple of months or something, isn't there?
Well, that's Antarctica.
Yeah, during the winter, it's like dark all the time.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
Well,
it's like
you got like Antarctica, and the sun goes around the horizon, and it's quite in the far distance. You know, it's not really heating up; it's just giving light.
Yeah.
It goes round in circles like that. It kind of like it does. I think apparently it gets dark 2 hours a day there, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
And then it changes during the summer a little bit, you know. I don't know, you know. I mean, you'd have to Google it a little bit, you know. But it's depending. I mean, if you're living in France, say you're living in the south of France, it's a lot warmer than it is here, and a lot later at this time of the year. You know, they're say how many hours light do we get in November?
We probably get roughly from about 7 o'clock, really.
7 o'clock it starts getting dark, doesn't it?
No, I mean light in the morning, roughly now.
And it gets dark about 6, doesn't it? So it's about 11 hours, isn't it?
No, now it's getting dark at 4:30.
Oh yeah.
4:30 now, roughly, mate. 5 o'clock, pushing it.
So it's about 6 hours. I mean, 8 hours, isn't it? Yeah.
About 9 hours. Roughly about 10. If you push it to 5 o'clock, let's say 10 hours.
So I mean, if you went to south of France, it'd probably be 11. Then if you went to Africa, it'd be probably 11 right now. Do you know what I mean? In November. That's how it's kind of working. If you go to Scotland, it's even less.
Even less, yeah.
You with me?
Yeah.
You know, so that's how it kind of works. And it depends where you really live. You know, sometimes some places have quite a warm year. You know, even the winter it's quite warm. And other places it's snowing all day long. Other places it's foggy all year. Every day. Yeah. Apart from maybe one day. Yeah. A year. It's fog. Complete fog. You know, I've seen it. I've seen a documentary about it all, you know. Yeah. So it depends where you really live, where you're struggling to get water, or you get too much water in some places. Yeah. I mean, here in this country, people always complain about the weather. Yeah.
Well, it's a common theme in the British society, isn't it? It's a topic of conversation, isn't it, for most of the British people?
I think it is. but basically, because this country is the Atlantic Ocean, brushing against it all the time. Do you know what I mean? And it's always quite stormy here, So I suppose it gives people a lot to complain about, if you sort of mean. I mean, the Atlantic Ocean is the most violent ocean of all.
Okay.
Because it's got the Mediterranean and the Arctic there, and it's sort of like cold and hot. So it's always sort of violent.
Yeah.
Most of the time, And Britain gets the brunt of that, if you see what I mean. And that's why I think a lot of people complain, especially in, I mean, personally, I wouldn't want to live down Scotland or down north, because this time of year it's much colder than it is here.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean. And I can see, I'm somebody that don't, I'm not happy when it gets cold. Just like I'm not happy when I get toothache, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to be comfortable in it.
Well,
nice to be,
You've got to be happy in life, haven't you?
That's why I even say to people, like, even during the winter, mate, I'll wrap up, mate. I'll put on as many layers as I need, mate. Like, practicality over fashion, for me anyway, during the winter. You still look nice, but you best believe I'm going to have on a lot of, quite a few layers to make sure that I'm warm, like, especially if I've got to go out and about, like, don't want to be cold, I want to feel, even though it's cold out, as long as you're wrapped up well, you know what I mean, you're going to be, still be comfortable,
We're all trying to survive to that, aren't we, really?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
It's like, if you hadn't had anything to eat,
yeah,
you're going to start feeling hunger pains, aren't you,
Yeah, it's true.
You really have, we're all working in so many different ways to keep ourselves happy. And, one thing we all try to avoid is pain. It's one thing a wise man avoids.
Yeah,
tries to avoid. But I feel like we're lucky, right? Because humans, they know a lot about medication today. Do you know what I mean? And, you can go and get a painkiller in the shop today.
Yeah.
Which probably a couple of 100 years ago they didn't have this. You wouldn't be able to pop in the shop round the corner, and get some painkillers.
No, they would give you herbs and shit like that, like natural.
You'd have to see a witch or someone like that.
Well, not even that. You just go and see a herbalist. Not everyone that dealt with herbs and shit back then was like a witch or stuff like this. No, sometimes they used to be deemed a witch or something just because they had knowledge about like herbs and plants and spices and different remedies and shit, like, you know what I mean. But these were people that just had knowledge basically about different types of plants throughout the years. It was passed down from generation to generation. Oh, this plant is good for this. That plant.
Chinese have been studying it for millions of years.
Exactly. Yeah.
So today humans know a lot. I don't personally.
Yeah.
Right, but we've as you know, sort of like there's so many different chemicals out there, isn't there, today?
Yeah.
That you can buy that can relieve you from pain and so on. And they're still researching it today and improving on that technology today, aren't they? Really. But I'm glad that I can take a painkiller to help. It does help it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine being an animal, because they got teeth too.
Yeah.
And sometimes they go bad.
Yeah.
I've seen them, especially on hippos.
Yeah.
They get bad teeth, and they've really, really got big teeth.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine sort of being a hippo having a bad tooth, because you can't go to the dentist, can you? Or anything. So I'm talking rubbish.
That's okay. Yeah.
Hippos.
Yeah.
Going to the dentist.
Yeah.
But if you have a look at hippo, they've got really sort of quite big
teeth, yeah.
And they're normally black sometimes. So is a gorilla's teeth.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah. It's funny.
Like, we're talking about meditation today, yeah?
Yeah.
I think it's best to be laid back in every situation that you come across. Be in control of yourself at all times. And try to deal with every situation that you come across with calmness and
Yeah.
Just be laid back about it all, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Be calm and collective.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah. Sometimes I've not, you know, used that word for a long time. I forget how to say it. If you see what I mean.
It's important, like you said, you've got to be able to control yourself. You know, that's one of the biggest ones. You know. But I was going to say to people, as we talk about meditation, like you don't always, like for some people you might only have half an hour to an hour every day of like alone time, of time that you actually get just for yourself. And you don't have to spend an hour of your time just meditating, even if it's just 5 minutes every day, you know. Take 5-10 minutes just to sit there and just kind of even just close your eyes for 10 minutes and just kind of think. You know, just allow your mind to kind of wander and just kind of think, you know, and just kind of, you know, just relax for 10 minutes and just, you know, try not to, you know, just think about anything that's worrying you or anything like that. Just, you know, just try and relax and just allow your mind to just, like I said, just to wander and, you know, allow your imagination to kind of just take you where it kind of wants to go and just, you know, think about your life and think, you know, all these things, you know. Because it does help, you know, I think it helps to kind of like balance you as a human being, like it kind of gives you like perspective, gives you time to think about things that might really matter to you in your life, you know, whether it be family or your loved ones or your goals, your career, things that you kind of hold like, you know, close to your heart and dear to your heart, you know. So yeah, you know, it kind of gives you just that little bit of time just for yourself, you know, just to be able to contemplate on, you know, whatever's going on in life, and you know.
I personally don't think 5 minutes is enough.
No, same. But I'm just saying I know that there are some people out there that are extremely busy, you know, just, you know, to the point where they literally get very little alone time throughout the day, you know. So yeah, you know, it just, yeah.
Well, I'm somebody that
utilise the time that you do have, you know.
I'm somebody that used to be busy.
Yeah.
I used to work 7 days a week once, do you know what I mean? I used to work on ships, and I was working, I think I worked 2 months without one day off, you know, things like that. And then I worked 6 days a week doing removals. You know, I worked hard, you know. And now I can kind of, like, the last 7 years I've been putting my feet up in a kind of way. Almost meditating all the time. And it's kind of quite nice in a kind of way. It's freedom, if you ask me. You know, I definitely feel a lot more freer than I used to. When I was married, I don't think I didn't feel free then.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I had to go to work and do all kinds of things. You know, I had to give up myself for a lot of things. You know, but today I just feel like I'm living in the world of meditation today, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's quite nice.
Yeah. Kind of.
It's like a dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm living in a dream, you know. I mean, after all, life is a kind of a
dream,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, your past instantly becomes a dream, like what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And when you think about your future, you can only dream about it, can't you?
Yeah.
And the moment is kind of dreamy.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
But there are some people that go as far as saying that the world is like a holographic universe, you know, and that we could be living in some kind of simulation, you know. But that's a much deeper conversation for another day, you know. But there are some people that do believe that, you know.
Well, when I do go into my meditation state of mind, I do feel like the universe is communicating with me somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not with words, you know. I can't explain it, but it's kind of like I just feel like it's guiding me somehow.
Yeah.
To, you know, that's why I'm here today in a funny way, you know. I feel I can't explain it. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like you said, it is kind of hard to explain. You know, it's one of those things that is kind of quite difficult to explain. You know, even recently. Even the last few weeks, say for example, you know, it's been happening for a long time now, but I must say, like, even in particular the last couple of weeks, I keep getting like little signs and little just little thing. I don't even know how to explain it. Just kind of like, it's almost like you said, exactly the same thing. It's almost like I've got some kind of connection with the universe or God or the source, the consciousness, or whatever you choose to call it. And I really feel like it's guiding me now even more than ever before. It's kind of like, it's quite strange. It's quite like a strange phenomena to kind of like explain to someone else like that might not, someone else that's that's experienced the same thing or going through the same kind of thing could kind of relate. But for the average,
I feel like I can relate with you.
exactly. But for the average person that might not, know what we're talking about or ever experienced anything according to what kind of like what we're actually talking about, like might not be able to understand. But it's when you feel connected, like when you're on the right frequency. I think that's what it is. When you're on the right frequency as a human being, when you make love and love your frequency, essentially, almost, living in harmony and in balance with the universe, with nature, with people, with animals, with nature, just being in complete balance with yourself.
With the trees.
Everything, just having balance within yourself, knowing who you are as a person and just, living free, having a free mind, free thinker, someone who's able to question things and disseminate information for themselves and, so...
I mean, when you think about it, really, there is a lot of magical things in the universe. Like fire, for instance, or rainbows, in ultraviolet light, and all these kind of like different gamma rays and God knows what, X-rays and magnetism.
Yeah, magnetism.
Yeah. Did I say it right?
Yeah, that's the one. No, I was just going to say that, it's the one.
And there's other things as well. It goes on. I can't, gravity's a bit different to, I can't, there's so many different things, magical powers around us. And I find it quite strange, really, that we got this big sun, which is a star, really, that's quite close to us, so big as it is, it just goes round in circles we kind of wake up, and then when it gets dark, the moon, you see the moon, sometimes you see the moon at the same time, don't you, during the day, but you've got those two objects just going around, like they do or whatever, and Earth, and it kind of like the oceans are working beautifully because of it, and the sun is in the right, exact right size.
Yeah.
The sun's the right size and the right distance.
And the right place, yeah.
If we were further away, we'd get even colder, do you know what I mean? And it'd be even darker today. Or if the Earth was spinning around faster, our days would go quicker.
Yeah.
Or if the Earth was slowed down in speed, our days would be slower.
Yeah.
It's like if you lived on Venus, apparently sort of the days are only 3 hours long.
Okay, yeah.
But it's very hot there, same as Mercury, But like, I think it's depending on the size of the planet, for one. Like, I think Mars is slightly different, bigger, if I remember. I might be wrong.
Okay.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Jupiter's even bigger. And Saturn's huge, I think.
Yeah.
Huge. It's 100 times bigger than Earth. Can you imagine that? How big that planet is. But that takes longer to rotate, apparently. The days are sort of like a lot longer and all that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have got to place yourself. I'm glad that I don't live on these other planets for one, because the weather is completely different to what we get on this planet.
Yeah.
We got oxygen on this planet, that's the difference, and oxygen makes life. Oxygen and water,
Yeah.
I think like put it on Mars, I think it'd ice over it, do you know what I mean? If you put it on Mars, it's too cold there now, do you know what I mean? But as I say, I think people complain about the weather, but we're lucky to be here.
Yeah, it's true.
That's what I think.
Everything seems to work in complete coordination with each other. The sun, the moon, and the earth. It all works in coordination. It's like not only does the sun and moon like control the earth, if you see what I mean, and influence the earth and have an effect on the earth, it affects the people, the animals, the growth of everything, the ocean, everything, if you see what I mean, and everything works in complete intricate complexity, but together, it's like everything is like synchronized, it's almost, that's why when some people say there is some kind of intelligent creator, it's kind of, you can kind of see it in a way. It kind of makes you think, it is possible, like the way everything is like coordinated together and works together. Like the sun releases, electromagnetic energy. The moon even affects moon affects like the waters. It affects us as humans, say for example, because we are predominantly made up of water. Our bodies, our minds, everything is like we talked about previously in one of our previous episodes. We're pretty much made up of water. So the same way the moon affects the sea and the oceans and all that type of shit, the rivers, all that kind of thing, it affects human beings too, if you see what I mean. So when there's different like full moons and different half moons and different, solar eclipses and various different things that happen here on Earth, if you see what I mean, whether it be by the sun or by the moon, it affects us people and everything else, the earth, like you said, the plants, the trees, the light, the livestock, everything it affects. It's like one big package, one big creation. So everything is like conjoined, if you see what I mean. It's quite interesting, That's why I do believe in some kind of creator, some kind of like, whether it be, I don't believe like I've always said, like no disrespect to what anyone else believes, like it's just my own personal views and my personal opinions, but I don't believe there's some man sitting up in the sky on a large throne, if you see what I mean.
I do. I do.
Do you?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't believe in some large man, just large, being sitting, however many feet up in the air, thousands, miles up in the sky, sitting on a throne somewhere waiting for me to arrive to judge. No, I don't believe in that.
I believe some powerful energy.
Exactly. I believe in, like you said earlier, the magnetism, electromagnetic energy, all these various different things,
The way our imagination works, and just the other thing is, you've got the sun up there.
Yeah.
But if the sun wasn't there, say, nobody would be able to see anything. No animals would be able to see anymore. That's what, our eyes would work with people blind. And it's just incredible that the sun is what it is, and it gives us this beautiful sort of daylight everywhere when it comes up, and when it goes away.
And what's so amazing about it too is if you live somewhere where you get a lot of sunlight too, you see what we always talk about, your third eye. Your pineal gland, what is scientifically referred to as your pineal gland and pituitary glands. The more sunlight you get, the more it opens up your pineal gland, if you see what I mean. So it's somehow the sun even enhances you as a human being, if you see what I mean. It kind of, helps you to be even more connected with the universe and everything else,
Sometimes I feel like I can feel some sort of energy, and I don't know whether it's coming from the sun itself. Sometimes I feel it is. I mean, the moon, what's that? To me that's just like a big white lump of rock, nothing else. It's not on fire, is it? It's just a cold rock going, giant sort of brown rock going around, like looking like a planet really. But if you took that moon away, if a giant come along, a giant god, and threw it away, a long way away, our planet, the oceans would kick up, something would go wrong. I don't know what. Do you know what I mean?
It would affect the gravitational pull.
Yeah,
essentially,
it's the moon is very important.
Yeah.
It's just as important as the sun in a funny way, I think. But it does a different job. And I just find it incredible that you've got these objects that are doing a job to make this all work for us here to be alive today and exist.
In order for the planet to thrive,
to exist, to carry on existing, in generations to come, hopefully.
And in order for life to start too, like imagine like when the planet first formed, Yeah.
Yeah.
And the sun and the moon and everything were working in conjunction with the early days of like the origins of the planet, and the sun and the moon and everything working together in order to help it to grow and thrive and all that type of shit. Imagine like how it, like where it first started, like organisms in water, different bacterias, different organisms and shit that grew from bacteria and spawned into a life form, and then eventually something else. It's
energy coming alive, basically, isn't it?
basically.
You know, how can energy come alive? You know, I really can't figure it out. You know, and then actually evolve very slowly, and actually grow ears to hear everything that's going on.
Yeah,
in the surroundings.
but that's what even we are. Like we always say, humans are is light manifested essentially. We are light. You know what I mean? We are, you know.
We're physical lights, aren't we?
Yeah, but our physical body is just a vessel for our, if you see what I mean, a way for us, in order for us to experience life on Earth, you have to have a body, if you see what I mean, you know. But we are all light. That's what human is always meant, light being, you know.
You need to see, you need eyes to see the stars and the sun and the moon, if you sort of mean. You know, and I think like when you do die, you don't see anything anymore, do you?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just sort of thinking, where do we, you know, what's after? You know, seriously, you know, because I mean, like before I got here, I can remember, you know, this is how I feel anyway. There's just nothing for millions of years, you know, I just can't really remember much, or I can't remember existing before, that's for sure, or anything like that, you know, I just remember no memories at all.
Yeah.
You know, my memory started when I was about 3 years old, you know, and then slowly grew, you know, until now I know that I really exist today in this universe, if you know what I mean. You know, and the older I get, the more the universe kind of exists to me, if you see what I mean. You know, it gets bigger, you know, because I kind of like learn more each year. The more I'm in it, you know, you can imagine when you're 7 years old, what's your views of the moon and the universe? You're not really thinking about it much then, are you? Do you know what I mean? It's only when you're about maybe 13 or 14 or 15 you start studying the moon a little bit, you know, or going a bit deeper in it, you know, and then I think the further you go really, the older you get and the more deeper you get, the more fascinating it is really, and phenomenal.
Yeah.
A whole lot of it, you know, like we got imaginations. You know, how did the universe create imagination? You know, how?
Yeah.
I mean, you said I do believe in some sort of creator, but he's not a man sitting on a chair.
I believe in a creative force, definitely, like, you know, for sure, like consciousness. I believe
the universe might be conscious.
but I believe it is. You know,
I believe it.
It's an intelligent design. There is some kind, you know, the way everything just works in perfect, like I said again, perfect coordination. It's almost like there has to be some, you know, unless it's just over time, it's just intelligently evolved like that over time. But I believe that might be too much of a coincidence, you know, possibly. You know, I feel like there is some kind of intelligent kind of, you know, design, you know. So.
That we can't see.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when people die, they just disappear, really, don't they?
But there are quite a few people that have actually, like, quote unquote, died and been brought back to life, if you see what I mean. You know, experienced death for a few minutes, if you see what I mean.
So they say. Yeah.
You know, and then were brought back to life, shocked back to life. You know, sometimes in hospital where people, you know, they get the defibrillators on them, if you see what I mean, and they've already died, like they flatlined, if you see what I mean, like, you know, but then they're eventually able to bring them back with the old, you know, and sometimes you get people that, you know, I'm sure there are some people out there that lie about it, if you see what I mean, lie about what they've seen, what they might have saw or experienced, you know, but I'm sure there are some genuine ones too, people that have had like out-of-body experiences and shit like that, very similar to probably what you had when you had a seizure and stuff like that. You know,
I used to have a thing called parallelism.